What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, where we're going to talk about Sancho being the next move. But first, we need to talk about it's all over for Federico Chiesa, and that's why Sancho is probably the next move the club is thinking about doing or trying to attempt to replace Federico Chiesa, who is now definitely on his way out of the club. I don't think there were real doubts, to be honest, over the last couple of weeks that he was actually going to leave. Maybe some had some slim hopes, but I think the direction was very, very clear with all the news coming out saying that he was going to wait until the Euros, and even Juve was waiting after the Euros. And I said, when that news came out, I was like, that's kind of BS. The decision has already been made. It just need to make officially public, basically, and now it's all being leaked throughout the media and it's public. That's what we're going to talk about, and Jadon Sancho being the replacement. Also, a weird update on Rugani and the Buongiorno. I don't even know how to call it, but yeah, before we do that, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's go. Okay, before we talk about Jadon Sancho, we need to address the Chiesa news because it's directly linked with Jadon Sancho. So Fabrizio Romano said that Juve's decision on Federico Chiesa is clear. Plan to sell the winger this summer with a contract to expire in 25, so next summer. Thiago Motta doesn't see Chiesa as a key part of his project. They're looking for a solution. Juve want to bring a new winger after they sign Colt Miners, which is also a bit weird one because I don't think the Colt Miners deal is going to be done quickly. So you cannot wait until you get Colt Miners before you actually move for your next winger. But Chiesa's done. I think it was for me it was clear the moment we talked about, or the media talked about, maybe he'll sign a bridge gap year, a 1 season deal, so the value will not go down. And I was like, that makes no sense because then next summer you're again with the same issues. So that was never going to be a solution. I don't know what the wages are. I don't think that's the main point right here. I think both just agreed that it's time to go. I like Chiesa. I have nothing against Chiesa. I'm not gonna deny that he's been poor, or like poor. He's not been effective enough after his injury. I think that came due to his own stubbornness at times. That came to the way we played last season, no doubt about it. Even again, Italy, the last 2 games they played, they hardly touched the ball in dangerous areas, and you need to get a player like Chiesa on the ball consistently in open space. Now, that Thiago Motta doesn't like him, it kind of surprised me, and it doesn't surprise me at the same time because of the players he had at at Bologna, like a Salamakers. But what doesn't surprise me is that he said very openly, I don't like a player who just can play one position and cannot adapt and cannot be versatile. At that point, I was like, okay, that is probably going to be an issue if you tell Motta we need to hand Chiesa a new long-term deal, and Motta's not convinced that he will be a key player for his system, and that, maybe handing that new deal will kind of quote-unquote, put the club on a back foot in the next couple of seasons. If Chiesa goes to Roma or he goes to Napoli, he will do fantastic. I have no doubts about that. Actually, I'm convinced he will have a very good season, double-digit goals and assists. I have no doubts about that. Like I'm fully convinced about that because that will be refreshing for him as well. It will feel as a new start. It is a sad ending because when we signed him, and the next season and the season after, everybody was like, okay, he is going to be the poster boy, the next Italian player playing for the club long term, whatever. And now it's just over. It's a complete sad ending. But the decision has been made. And is it the right decision? Only time will tell. It depends on how you're going to replace. What are you going to do? Obviously, if you go out and you continue winning again, nobody's going to really care about it. But if you're not winning and Chiesa's doing well for another team, even if Chiesa's not winning with that team, you will be looking at that and you'll be like, you made a horrible mistake, and now we're sitting here and we have absolutely nothing to show for. So it's a big decision. But again, I said 2 summers to give Giuntoli the time and even Motta to see, okay, what are you guys actually trying to do? What is the idea? Because with Calafiori, there's a lot of confusion in the midfield and the back line. And I'll talk about Rugani in a sec. It's a lot of confusion going around. Like, what are you actually going to do with release clauses, players aging, big contracts, players that played 5 minutes last season in Diallo? Like, what is actually your plan? But the plan is clear for Chiesa, and he is on his way out of the club. Now, the replacement the dream, quote unquote, the number one target for the club is Jadon Sancho. I think we can all pencil that down now. Not that it's gonna happen, but that he is the main target. And Alfredo Padula is saying that Manu would like to collect 30 million euros plus bonuses for Juve, for Sancho, excuse me. Juve is looking at it, very interested, have an agreement with the player already. They're hoping to get him on loan, even an obligation, but they need to sell first to actually make that obligation possible. They're banking their hope that they agree terms with Sancho, and that will help. Because again, in the meantime, clubs can come in and say we don't want a loan, we just pay up 30 million euros, and we keep it moving. And then it's done, and you are in a situation where you said you didn't need Chiesa, which okay, that's fine, I guess, but you have a replacement locked in, or you have your eyes set on a replacement, being Sancho in this case, and then you lose out on Sancho. That will look bad on the club as well. Like rumors about Sule are fading away. Morata is potentially joining Milan, so the attack also, like a lot of moving objects or players, and those players are not even our players, but they're linked to what the club could or could not do possibly. And with Jadon Sancho, I know a lot of people do not like his attitude because he has issues in training apparently. They don't like his playing style. They don't like the last 2 seasons, and I fully 100% see those things, and I am worried about those things as well. I don't think he's a bad player. I think there's still a very good player in him. But again, it's 2 years that he has not really shown it. And you need to dig deep to get that out of him again. And is Mota going to be that guy? Mota believes he is going to be the coach that will get the best out of Jadon Sancho again. And that's where we are at square one, where it's like, okay, you need to trust Mota and Giuntoli in what they're doing. You absolutely need to believe in that, because otherwise, what is there to believe in? Because we had horrible 3-4 years, and it's like, okay, you need to get behind something. Even if you don't believe fully in it as a fan, you need to give it a chance, and that's what I'm doing. So I'll give it a chance. Maybe because I always liked Jadon Sancho, maybe that helps a little bit. He's not he's not a player I'm looking at and I'm like, okay, I think you are gonna be, because a difference maker. Because the last 2 seasons he didn't show that he can still be that difference maker everybody thought he was gonna be. Like his talent, in my opinion, is undeniable. It's just getting that talent out there consistently, showing that, hey, I am that guy, I can do that here, no need to worry. That is probably the biggest question mark. And if you invest that money and you move out Chiesa, it's like, okay, you move out Chiesa because you don't think he's functional and he doesn't get the assists and goals and he's not consistent, and then you replace him with Jadon Sancho, who kind of has the same track record the last couple of seasons. High wages, you still need to pay a fee. I can fully understand the frustration and the confusing thoughts among fans. But who else is out there? If they move out Chiesa, are we linked with other options? Should we be linked with other options? If you think there are better options out there, let me know in the comments. But for now, Jadon Sancho is the main target. Now, the Rugani update came in while I'm recording is that Nico Schira saying the club is open to let him go for 5 million euros, which is surprising after the new deal, and maybe not so surprising because Giuntoli is trying to sell everyone. Will he leave? Who knows? I have a feeling that Rugani is a player that will never leave. He will always be at the club until he retires. That's how I view Rugani. But if you let him leave, then the issues at the back are just getting bigger. Like, you're losing a kind of decent backup, and you already needed to, in my opinion, improve the starting 11, and now you also need to get a backup in. So I'm not sure what the club is trying to do there. Links with Buongiorno, which I refuse to believe, especially the price tag. I don't think it's a real thing. If you let go of Calafiori, or you don't move for Calafiori, and you sign a player who, in my opinion, characteristic-wise, is nothing like Calafiori, but more so like Bremer, then it's very confusing reporting. And even as a fan, you're sitting there and you're like, do you really know what you want at the back? Like, do you want a Paul playing center back, or do you want a very good 1v1 center back? So it's all up in the air right now. The only thing we do know is that Chiesa is on his way out, and Colt Miners is the next target the club wants to sign, and then they will move on. Again, Colt Miners, it's not going to be easy. It will take time. So let's see. They might need to do a couple of deals at the same time rather than just focus on one and then move on, because there might be not enough time to work like that the last 2 months. But let me know in the comments what you think about the final decision on Chiesa and Sancho being the main target to replace Chiesa. Like the video, subscribe, and I will speak to you guys very, very soon. Ciao.